Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Elections in Canada are just a period of 3 months away, and the jugglers who create illusions of hope, prosperity, happiness all around, are in business. The illusions really are never going to be realized. But some illusions can have very profound effect on the society. In one of the last episodes, I had discussed about one of the illusions being sought to be created by Jagmeet Singh of NDP, wherein I had exposed the hollowness of the promise of his creating jobs, which has no sanctity of reality, which is absolutely not possible. And if it happens, there's going to be corresponding loss of the jobs as well. But then the politicians always indulge in suppressing the truth and suggesting falsehood. The purpose is to create an aura of being happy without the reality. So that's why I call them the illusionists. They are not visionaries. They are not even dreamers. They are the jugglers. Anyway, the latest to join the bandwagon, Bernier of the new Conservative Party, has come up with a new, different illusion, and that is meant for the non-immigrants. That is meant for the people who are not people of color. It is ripsorte to the growing impact of the new Canadians vis-a-vis the old white ones. How far that is justified is a different matter. But there is no denying the fact that the concept of the multiculturalism has been exploited, misused by the politicians of all the parties, whether it is the Liberals or the NDP or even the Conservatives. They pay lip service to the concept of multiculturalism. When Pierre Trudeau, the father of the present Prime Minister, came up with this concept on the advice of Mr. King, the purpose was only, as revealed in their personal talks and the documents, was to ensure that the people, the new immigrants, are given a hope and some paltry handouts. Those paltry handouts would be like offerings from the table of the rich to the poor, hungry, and at the same time create in those people, the newcomers, a sort of feeling of being good for that party. And that policy paid off. 90% of the new immigrants naturally gravitated to the Liberal Party, and even today, their inner cords are connected because they are the founders of this concept. And not, I wouldn't say founders, but the largest propagators of this concept of multiculturalism. And now Bernier says that his act as the Prime Minister, in case he becomes the Prime Minister, would be to abrogate the Multicultural Act which was passed by Pierre Trudeau. What would be the impact? First, multiculturalism. What's the reality of that? As I said earlier, it's a chimera. Multiculturalism is a chimera and an illusion created to cheat and deceive. I call it a modified form of the old British imperial policy, divide and rule. You divide the people into groups so that each one of them is concerned with his, her own group. Take pride in that, nothing wrong with that, but tries only to promote that group, not the nation. So the attention is divided, it's focused on your group. It's in fact the revival of tribalism. The word has moved from the family to tribe to a nation. And this multiculturalism is a step back from a nation to tribe. The purpose was to create social, political, and economic ghettos. The purpose was to ensure that Canada does not become a melting pot as America has become. And a curious thing took place. Instead of being proud Canadians, people started calling themselves Indo-Canadians, Pakistani Canadians, Italian Canadians, Greek Canadians. And when I came here, I was shocked, and in one of my talks at the Living God Center, I had said, I came to Canada to live in Canada, but I don't find Canadians. I find many Punjab, I find many China land, I find many Pakistan, I find many Bangladesh, I find Italy town, little Italy, I find little Greece and all that. But where the hell is Canada? Mayor Hazel McCallion that day ordered her office not to use the word multicultural. She understood what I'm driving at. And now, people have become so mentally enslaved by the concept that living as Canadians without the honorific of a joint name, I call it a bastardized name, being brutally frank, they cannot envisage that. So the concept of the nationhood, as I said, was being converted into tribal concept by multiculturalism. And the purpose was that there was never a cohesive opposition to the main parties. And those parties remained in power. So what happens? You give some soaps, you give more welfare, you give all the help, and then they give their votes for you for 4 years to govern or misgovern. That is dependent on the party. But now Bernier comes like a cat in the pigeon and disturbs the whole system. And his action is in consonance with the actions being held all over the world where there's a reversal towards nationalism. Now, this is a two-way reversal. It's an advance from tribalism to nationhood, and it's a withdrawal from globalization to back to nationhood. So nation becomes the convergent point where people go, whether from family and tribe or whether from globalization. The concept of the global village is an exploded one. And that's why Modi is liked in India, because he propounds the concept of Indian nation. His detractors might call it Hindutva, but his basic concept is Indian nation, the essential, quintessential Indianness. Same is Trump. Now, USA and India are the biggest melting pots, with more than 100 languages in India and more than 44 languages in USA. People still think themselves as Indians and as Americans, not as in Canada, where people think themselves in double level. And I always say that we have banned bigamy. We say that you cannot be loyal to two spouses. Then how can you be loyal to two countries? So the concept is wrong. But today I'm more concerned not with the concept but the impact of this promise of Bernier. Now there will be definitely a two-pronged effect. A, the immigrants are not going to take kindly to it, majority of them. I'm no lover of Bernier, but I like this concept because there's a need to ensure that the Canadian nation grows rather than the groups grow. Now, people who think beyond their narrow confines of the groups and the tribes would welcome this suggestion. Agree. Secondly, this gives an handle to three opposition other parties, Liberals, Conservative, and NDP, to beat Bernier, saying, look here, he is a man who is against multiculturalism, who is against diversity. Now, multiculturalism, if it means promoting all cultures, I won't say promoting it, I'm saying not hindering the promotion of any culture, but not actually promoting it as well. And that's what it should be. Give freedom to the people to practice what they want. But you need not prop up saying, well, this group is good and this is bad. And as a matter of fact, it should be an unwritten law that the political leaders shall not join any communal organization, not promote anyone. So, but then this concept of doing away with the Multicultural Act does resonate with a lot of people. 65% people today all over Canada are Roman Catholics. And I'm not talking of the nation, I talked of the religion. If I took the religion aspect, then they are the biggest majority and they are politically neutral as a religion. But you can be definite that three groups are definitely going to oppose Bernier. The Muslims, the Sikhs, and the Hindus, along with the Italians, they wouldn't like it because their pockets of influence of the leaders are going to be impacted. And so this comes as a broom to beat Bernier with. And let people know, look here, we are the saviors, we are the good people, he is a bad guy. Good or bad is something different, I'm not concerned with that now. But the mainstream, the so-called white rednecks, are going to love it. And do not forget that although there are 44 ridings today where visible minorities are in majority, that concept that I'll take up in detail next week. How the visible minorities are not visible minorities, they are visible majorities. And in 44 ridings. So those visible majorities in 44 ridings, they are the Bernier's party is going to lose definitely. But in the balance of 300 odd ridings, he is going to be welcomed. And this can put a spanner in the thinking process of the political pundits. At present, according to them, the fight is only between liberals and the conservatives, and they are running neck to neck. One day, one person is up by 3 points, the other day, the second is, but basically they are neck to neck. And the B party of the liberals, NDP, is waiting in the wings to have its pound of flesh in case Trudeau gets a minority, so that it can join a subsidiary and be a part of the party. But the biggest losers here are going to be the conservatives, because it's the division between the conservatives and the benefit is going to go to the liberals. They would say, look here, While this guy, who is a former conservative leader, has come out openly. He has shed the sheep's clothing, and you can see the fangs of a wolf. But the Conservative Party is still wearing the sheep's clothing. Don't be misled by that. So the benefit is going to Liberal and it's beating. The losers are going to, but nation as a whole is going to lose. It is in fact reviving waking up a sleeping tiger. It is going to exaggerate the differences between the old Canadians and the new Canadians. The people are still again going to think, well, we have been exploited, we have been cheated, and the old Canadians are going to say, we came, we slaved, we worked hard and without any luxuries, without any comforts, and made Canada. And when these immigrants started coming, they were coming as labor force, as a hewers of wood and drawers of water. Why are they today sharing the prosperity? Let them have their salaries and keep their mouth shut, which is not possible anyway. But it raises an interesting question. How is the country as a whole, the majority of it, going to face it? I can see one thing, that this can have a snowball effect. And hitherto ignored Maxime Bernier can be a major disruptionist. What happens after that disruption is a matter of conjecture. Let's wait, watch, and see what happens. Thank you.